Hey, you're listening to Pint of Comics. I'm Lloyd.
And I'm John. We swear a lot and spoil shit.
Fuck yeah.
Enjoy the show.
Yes, you're right, Reed. I'm going to enjoy killing you very much.
Welcome back to another episode of Pint of Comics. My name is John.
And I'm Lloyd.
And we're here with you on the other side of 200. Lloyd, we made it 200 episodes. How
200 plus.
200 plus.
I feel great.
You feel great?
Feel invigorated.
You feel strong?
Yes, very strong.
I feel strong. I feel good. All right, so we got a Pint Movie Invitational episode tonight. All right, and we talked about this a little bit on another episode, but I'm going to bring it up one more time. 2022, the PMI format is going to go on hold for the whole year.
The whole year.
All right, no more us asking you to come on and tell us what movie we're going to watch. We're going to pick the fucking movie.
Yeah, it's about time we pick our own movies to talk about.
Honestly, you know how often I'm like, God, I want to talk about this movie, but we don't really have like our own choice format, really, except for the Triple T, and those are mostly considered shitty movies. So I said, you know what we're going to do? We've been doing the invitationals for 3 years. We'll go back to it in 2023, right? We'll go back to it. Well, maybe. But in this year coming up, every movie that we're going to talk about is going to be us picking. Now, we're still going to have guests on, but guess what? You're going to have to watch the movie we fucking pick.
That's right.
Not vice versa anymore.
Not the opposite.
Not vice versa anymore. So tonight is a Pint Movie Invitational, and we have with us a very good friend. We have Joe from The Horror Show, which is a awesome horror genre podcast that is based right here out of Connecticut, along with us. Does it with his good friend Sean.
Yep, very casual.
Very casual, very conversational, and very funny. Joe, what's going on, man?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Thanks
Glad to be here.
Thanks for coming on, man. Thank you so much.
Anytime.
Now we're gonna have the 5 questions for you.
I'm nervous.
First time.
First time.
You got to answer them.
You got to answer 5 questions.
All right.
But I do have a couple questions about The Horror Show. Okay. Number 1. First of all, you're wearing a piece of your own merchandise. Is very cool. It's like a takeoff on Dawn of the Dead, but it's very cool.
I'm that loser that wears their own shit.
Listen.
Hey, we wear Pint of Comic shirts.
Listen, this is not a joke. So tonight, took a shower, getting dressed, and I have a couple Pint of Comic shirts, and I didn't put it on purpose because I thought, I don't know, what if Joe thinks that's lame that I'm wearing my own? I'm not even fucking kidding. I'm like, what if he thinks it's lame that I'm the guy wearing my own show shirt to record our show? And then he showed up in his show shirt, which might be a power move. I don't know. Is that a power move?
It's not. You know, it's more just being socially awkward, being locked up for so long.
Yeah.
Like I haven't done a podcast in person, even with my co-host, in over a year. So I was like, what if they want to do like a photo? Like,
we're gonna do a photo. We're gonna do a photo.
Then I feel less stupid for wearing my own merch.
It's a really cool shirt. So this leads me to the question I had because checking out your show, I see one of the I guess buzzwords around your show. What is a mangle expert?
A mangle expert is something that we came up with based off the movie The Mangler.
Okay.
I don't know if you've ever seen The Mangler.
Stephen King movie.
It is. It's something. Robert Englund is doing a Shakespearean effort for some reason.
Uh-huh.
There's a character in there who knows the history of manglers, which is a haunted, appliance.
Is this a laundry press?
It's a laundry appliance, yeah.
Yeah. And this guy knew everything about it. Like, he had a book on it. So we dubbed him the Mangle Expert, and then like a running gag for every movie that we do. If there's somebody who is the person who knows everything
that's
about
the Mangler expert.
They're the Mangler expert. Nobody on earth knows what the fuck a Mangler is.
Perfect.
Or, in like a Leprechaun movie, like, nobody would know everything about this guy, but they do. So they're the Mangler experts.
Okay, and that's like one of your levels on Patreon, I think, too, right?
That's a tier that we came up with.
That's very cool.
Yep.
I don't think we have enough of that stuff. Okay, Lloyd. Lloyd will be taking a little hiatus from the show for a little while. Not long. Don't worry, fans.
Don't worry.
I hate saying fans. Don't worry, listeners. I always feel like fans is like...
It's awkward, right?
Yeah, it's awkward. Yeah.
It's very presumptive.
Yeah, it's super presumptive. Yeah. Listeners, friends, Lloyd will be back. But while you're out taking care of some personal issues, I want you to come up with some maybe like things like that. Like, we need a mangle expert.
All right, I'll do something.
All right, we need something to really identify us. And you guys have been doing the show for how long now? Like 6-7 years, you said?
Yeah, we started in 2014.
And you took a little break for like a year.
Took a break for a year. We came back last August, so we've been back for almost a year.
That's awesome. What would you say is the straight up weirdest movie that you guys have reviewed that you could think of off the top of your head?
The weirdest movie that we've done? Man, we've done some shit. I might go with this movie called Muck. I think it's a St. Patrick's Day movie. That's what they marketed it as. But yeah, it's fucking weird. It takes place in Cape Cod. I'm not entirely sure what happens. They end up in a bog at some point. I'm not even sure if there's a killer in that movie. That movie is very weird.
Muck.
I don't recommend sitting through that though.
All right, yeah, it's not even fun to say. Muck.
Peter Rottentail, maybe Peter Rottentail.
Oh, is that about a killer rabbit? I'm assuming
It is.
Yeah.
It is one of the worst rabbit costumes you've ever seen. No, it's like a killer Easter bunny, not like just a animal like for creature features that we're going to be doing. It's a Easter bunny outfit. That sucks.
Wow. What is the one? I don't know if you guys ever did it, but isn't there a killer Thanksgiving movie with it's called Turkey or something like that?
It's called Thanksgiving. That is
That's a great name.
Probably
Thanksgiving.
Probably my favorite bad movie of all time.
Okay.
I watch it. I watch it multiple times every.
The killer is called Turkey.
Turkey spelled with an IE. Yeah.
What was it? Ricky O?
Oh,
Ricky O's great.
Yeah, that was a good bad movie.
Not fucking great.
Come on.
Ricky O. Larry Dwyer, our mutual friend, who's on the show all the time. He was doing the watch parties last year on Facebook every Saturday night and showing movies. And he showed a lot of bad movies, and I enjoyed them all. But Ricky O was fucking trying. That was trying to. And it's funny because our friend Stu, who does a podcast called SWO, the Stu World Order, he loved it. And me and him just go back and forth. I'm like, that fucking movie, man. But I just wanted
love
to.
it.
Oh, I hated that. I hated that so much. All right.
Well, Thanksgiving. Maybe this will sell you. The turkey talks. And he's probably the rudest character I've ever encountered watching a movie. Spoiler alert. I mean, if you're gonna get spoiled at Thanksgiving, you fucking relax.
Yeah, right. Just relax.
He goes to the sheriff's house, whose daughter he's also hunting. He ends up killing the sheriff and cutting off the skin of his face and wearing it over his face. He's a turkey. He's wearing his face, and the daughter shows up and acts like it's the dad. She's like,
Yeah, because she's fooled by it.
She's fooled by that.
She's fooled by it. So
All right.
that's the type of movie you're dealing with. I can't recommend it.
I'm watching this.
Wow. Yeah,
I'm watching
it
this.
sounds like a watch.
Yeah. All right, Manster. Let's get to the real questions.
All right,
Let's find
yeah.
out. Let's find out more about Joe.
Yeah, these are pretty easy questions. All right, ready? Invisibility or the strength of a cement truck?
I think the strength of the cement truck.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. Now, when you were 17 and like jacked up horny, would it be invisibility? Would you have used it in the wrong ways? Because I think that's a lot of young guys' answers.
You know, I don't think I would. I think I'm more of a fucking bonehead. So, like, if somebody just looked at me wrong, I'd be able to throw them across the
Okay.
room. So,
All right, that's fair.
Yeah, invisibility is a pretty go-to answer for a good superpower, but what does it really do for you? It just lets you be a lurker, really.
Yeah.
Right?
yeah.
Really nothing there.
There's the internet.
Yep. All right, ready? Cinnamon Toast Crunch or Captain Crunch?
Not even an option.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
correct
All right,
answer.
Thank you.
Correct answer.
Yeah. All right, ready?
Oh, did you know, by the way, I want to throw this out there because you brought that up. Someone on Facebook, our friend Chad Davis, I think.
Yeah.
He, took a picture, Cinnamon Toast Crunch milk in bottles. It's out there.
Oh, is it?
It's out there.
I always thought that would be a good creamer for like a coffee.
It would be, but I mean, and you could use this as a creamer.
I think they might have that.
Oh, really?
They might.
Well,
Okay. Well, in either case, the next time I go to a gas station, because you know that a gas station is going to have that,
yeah.
I'm looking for that. I might
Okay.
go to a gas station tomorrow, even if I don't have to, just to find that.
Do you know, I have a kid, he likes Cinnamon Toast Crunch. I think it is his favorite cereal.
Wait,
but he refuses to drink the milk at the bottom of the cereal bowl.
I knew you were going to say
Like,
that.
what is wrong with you? How can you be my own son?
Yeah. How can he be a human? I don't think.
Yeah, how can you be human
I think you
and
might
not
want.
want
I
that?
think you might want to have to look into things because that just doesn't seem right. But okay.
A fitted baseball cap or an adjustable baseball cap?
That's a great question. I'm actually a hat connoisseur.
Really?
I like collecting hats, even for teams I don't like. I've turned to. I was always adjustable. I've turned to the fitted.
Yeah,
I've turned to the
right.
fitted.
Fitted are pretty nice.
Okay. Yeah, I think I've got on.
When you
This
turn
is
them around,
adjustable.
well, when you have the receding hairline, I used to do the adjustable too, and then my hair would drape through, and I looked cool. But I don't look cool anymore. It's just not enough there.
Fitted is good for when you're going for the Fred Durst look. For when you're
Yes.
turning it backwards, that's
Yep.
when fitted is good.
Yep.
Yeah. Because remember when Sylvester Stallone turned it around and over the top and it had that big gap in the front? Lincoln Hawk wasn't that, he was cool, but he lost some cool points for looking like that.
If you're going to wear it backwards, you have to go fitted. That's not an option.
Yeah.
But I do agree, with the fitteds, you can get the angles. You can get like a 90-degree angle of where the brim is.
Yeah.
I think it's the way to go. The older you get.
All right.
Yep.
All right. Would you be, now if you were like a super rich guy, like if you had basketball, NBA money or something like that, would you be like a shoe head? Are you that guy?
Oh, I still am a shoe head.
Yeah. I never got that. I'm not a fashionable guy at all, and I'll admit that. But shoes is the thing, man. Like I watched like an hour-long documentary about shoe heads one time because I'm interested in it.
I'm not like super crazy like that. People get killed over shoes.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But I do like collecting them. I'm actually really big on Ewings, which is stupid because everyone's like collects Jordans, but Ewings are my shit. Ewings. I get Coogis.
Do you have like a room in your house, or a big closet or something?
I do.
You do. All right. So are you the guy like when you go out and stuff, you've got to decide like.
So funny you say that. I'm the least fashionable human being on earth. I couldn't tell you what two colors matched. So no, it's just kind of like I usually buy the shoes that I get are usually anniversary ones for something. So I'll wear them to celebrate an anniversary for a rapper, or an album, or an event. I'll put those on for that. But the rest of my clothes won't fucking match. So,
okay, wow.
I'm not fashionable at all.
You may not know this, but I'm a bit of a shoe head myself.
Are you really?
I never really considered myself that, but I've got a lot of freaking shoes.
I own 2 pair of shoes.
I've got Joy Division boots.
Oh, yeah.
I've got Led Zeppelin sneakers.
That's the kind of stuff I do. Like if a band or if something comes out to commemorate a movie, I'm going to buy it. So.
Cool.
All right. I find that maybe we'll do an episode about shoes at some point. Because
I got Vans on right now.
It's a thing, man. It's a fucking thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go to. I'm going to make this one up on the fly. Cujo or Misery?
Damn.
Are we talking book or movie?
I'm talking movie.
I think I go Misery.
Yeah.
I think I like Cujo a lot. James Caan is one of my favorite actors. I'd actually put him in my top 10, and him and Kathy Bates just kill it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Misery was my number 1 movie of 1990.
Yes, it was. Yes,
nice.
It was.
Yep. And then I will go characters here. King Kong or Godzilla?
I'm Godzilla. I'm Team Godzilla.
That's not very American of you, man.
We got to go G-Rod.
That's, because usually when you think of King Kong Godzilla, the Americans are like, it's got to be Kong because Kong originated here. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Did you see the last one? Did you see that big one?
Kong versus Godzilla?
Yeah.
I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I didn't either.
I didn't care for it at all, actually, to be honest with you.
It was goofy. It was a little goofy.
But the original, I'm a sucker for super old movies. So the 1933 King Kong, I absolutely love. I even like the one with
the Jack Black one and
I do like that
Peter
one.
Jackson.
Peter Jackson. The one from the 70s with
Jessica Lange.
Jeff Bridges,
yeah. He likes Jessica.
So you guys
Lange's.
went Jeff Bridges. I went Jessica Lange.
Yeah, well, Charles Grodin. Okay,
that's right. Grodin's in it.
Yeah,
yeah, she does, and titty pops out in that, right? Isn't he holding her at one point? He doesn't he?
Does a titty pop out?
I think Jessica Lange's titty pops out.
How did I never know that?
Yeah. And the finale of that movie is on the World Trade Center. It's not.
Yeah.
It's
That's
not
right.
on Empire
Not
Strikes
the
Back.
Empire. Yeah.
I almost said it's not on the Empire Strikes Back. It's not on the Empire State
Building.
All right, was that your last one?
Yeah, that was it.
All right, so now there's one more that we like to add in here to kind of gauge people, right? Because there's a right answer and there's a wrong answer.
Oh boy.
Starburst, 4 flavors, right?
Okay.
From top to bottom, what do you put Starburst flavors in? Number 1 to number 4. What's your favorite number 1, number 4 least favorite?
So I actually don't like fruity candies.
Okay.
I don't think I can name all 4 Starburst flavors.
All right, that's fair. All right.
I would say the pink one's number 1.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Thank you. All right. Yes.
All right. Well, even, I don't know.
Proven wrong yet again, John.
You know what I'm going to do? With this episode, I retire that question.
Yes. Thank you.
Because I cannot believe the amount of people that think the fucking shitty pink strawberry Starburst is fucking better than
What's the best one?
the cherry, the red one. It's a flavor sensation, dude.
It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Pink's better.
All right.
Yeah, pink's better.
Now, I know you said you don't like fruity candy. You got a couple kids at home, right? I'm sure once in a while you grab them like a treat or something like that. Next time you're somewhere and you see Starburst, hey, I'm going to give the kids Starburst. And then sneak 4 for yourself in there. And if you could tell me the pink one's better than even the yellow one.
I have a strong hunch. I'm going to tell you that.
Okay. All right.
What is your favorite candy?
Reese's Cups.
All right.
Okay. That's solid.
Yeah.
That's solid. It has not come out yet, but as of recording. But our next episode is we did our top 5 candies.
Okay.
Yeah, so that will be out, and you'll find out what we did. All right.
Any love for Three Musketeers?
No,
I will
absolutely
tell
not.
you, there was 4 of us on that episode, and Three Musketeers never came up once. Never came up once. Are you really?
Yeah, I did.
They're so fucking airy and like there's nothing to them.
Yeah, they're generic.
Yeah, they're like a shittier Milky Way.
My favorite candy bar was whatchamacallit.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes,
so
because
good.
we can say that because we're
because it already came out.
It's already came out. Yeah.
Can I follow up your questions with a question for you guys?
Yeah, absolutely.
Snickers or Milky Way?
Oh, Snickers.
Snickers.
Yeah,
I'm team
easy.
I'm team Milky Way.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always felt like
You like the less exciting candy bars.
I always felt like Milky Way was the option for people that didn't like excitement in their lives. It's like, hey, do you like everything about a fucking Snickers except for the good stuff? Here's a Milky Way. Really? Do you not like peanuts or?
I do. I love peanuts. Yeah.
That's super bizarre, dude. I'm
sorry.
Because it really is the same thing without the peanuts. It's like, to me, a Hershey's chocolate bar is like, whatever. Like, you could enjoy it for the fact that it's Hershey's chocolate.
Hershey's with almonds, though.
Hershey's with almonds is like fucking next generation.
Oh, I would honestly just throw them in the garbage if someone handed me.
Really?
Oh, man.
Really? All right. We might have to have him back for like a candy-centric episode.
Right.
Do you like Mounds Almond Joys?
See, I like the almond joy.
I hate coconut.
Okay, I'm with you on
Out
that.
the
I'm with
window.
you on that.
No.
Disgusting.
I don't think they showed up on our episode, but fucking coconut is just gross.
Terrible.
They were on some Twitter lists. None of ours, though.
Yeah. No, people love those. People absolutely love those.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. Joe, you picked a movie for the Pint Movie Invitational. Picked something that nobody's ever picked before, and you picked a movie that is very unique.
It's not even a movie.
It's not even a movie. It's never been properly released.
What did you pick, Joe?
Roger Corman's Fantastic Four from 1994.
1994.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now this is, I'm going to tell you right now, this thing has a storied history.
It does.
And we're going to talk about the movie, and some of the history is going to come up, but I'm going to direct everybody out there right now to a fantastic documentary.
Right. Before you watch this movie, because you don't really need to.
Yeah, and if well, no, I'm not going to say that. You might not be able to find this movie, right? Okay, because it's never been released. It's a movie of lore, right? It's traded at Comic Cons. I think in the last few years, it's become a little bit easier for people to find, but it's very similar to the Star Wars Holiday Special, right? It's one of those
found
things.
it myself at BingCon.
Yeah, and that's where I got it as
Picked
well.
up a bootleg there.
So if you go to our friend Marty Langford, who directed the film Doomed, the untold story of Roger Corman's Fantastic Four, it's a great documentary. Have you ever seen it?
I have.
So good.
So Marty's been on the show a couple times. He's an awesome guy. I messaged him, said we're reviewing it. If anybody wants to buy a copy of Doomed, where can I send them that you get the most benefit out of it? So he said, go to doomedfilms.bigcartel.com. Okay? Because we're not going to be able to get into like a lot of that stuff. But I'm telling you right now, if you're interested in this, please go check that out.
Yeah.
It's an absolutely fantastic
I'd recommend
documentary.
that.
Totally.
I might go there myself. I know you can stream it somewhere, but I would go there. I think Amazon Prime.
I think, I don't know if it's still out there or not, but it's a fantastic movie. So the Fantastic Four technically was shown once, May 31st, 1994. So that is what's considered, I guess, the release date because it was actually screened one time.
Oh, really? Yes. I didn't have a release date.
The one time it was screened was May 31st, 1994.
Okay.
This thing was directed by Ole Sassoon. So we did
Is he related to Vidal?
Vidal, no, it's Sassoon. We did an episode, a video episode of SFA 80s, science fiction, fantasy, action 80s, of Best of the Best. And we discussed a series of movies called Blood Fist. We didn't know what it was.
Yeah, that's right. I brought that up.
Ole Sassoon directed Blood Fist 3, Forced to Fight. Okay? He also directed episodes of Xena, Hercules, and a show that I know that I spent a lot of my teen years whacking off to, Silk Stockings.
Oh, yeah.
USA, 10 o'clock at night, Mitzi Capture, things are going to happen. It's written by a guy named Craig Genavius. He created a Black Scorpion. I guess this is it's like a female superhero thing. There was like 3 movies and a TV show. So he's known
Never
for that.
even heard of it.
Never heard of it. Kevin Rock is also the co-writer of the screenplay. He did a film, The Philadelphia Experiment 2.
Yeah, he's a cousin of Chris Rock.
Chris Rock and Warlock, the Armageddon. Julian Sands, if you remember that thing from the early 90s. He also
wasn't he in Arachnophobia?
Yes, he was the doctor.
That's right.
Nice.
He also wrote the screenplay of Howling 6: The Freaks. Right? And that was one of those. Howling is one of those things where after the howling, it just keeps getting fucking worse and worse and worse. It's known for having never been released. It's known for them kind of fooling the actors into thinking that they were making a movie that was meant to be released, but it was never released. Joe, what is your personal history with this movie?
This is my first viewing. I had never seen it before.
You'd never seen it before.
Yeah, I wanted to see it. I know that you guys like comic book movies, so I thought it would be a good reason for me to.
I thought you picked it because maybe it was something that you were a fan of, or like had some kind of like. All right.
So where did you find the movie?
It's actually uploaded on YouTube.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. I own a Blu-ray copy.
Nice.
I bought it. I think Marty was selling it at one point.
Yeah. I own a copy, but it was the first 10 minutes I couldn't even see. It was just like freeze frame. And then eventually it came around.
I got to be honest. I have a Con DVD version I bought 15 years ago.
Yeah.
It's terrible. This Blu-ray copy is as good as you can get for a fucking like
really
unfinished film.
Yeah. Mine was really literally good. Like a frozen pixel for 10 minutes before it came back on.
Okay. No. All right.
Yeah, hopefully that wasn't taboo to choose a movie I never saw before. I've been
whatever you want.
The Invitational is anything.
Your choice is still 2021.
If you hate it, you hate it. If you like it, you like it. If you never saw it, you never saw it.
I was going through your episodes and I just thought like what would be a good fit to do, and I was like, fuck, I've been wanting to watch this.
Yeah.
No, that's perfect. That's perfect
time.
So here's a little bit of the backstory. I'll give you this much, and then please go and buy the Doomed documentary.
Yeah, go buy that. It's really good.
So this thing was shot in 25 days. All right. Constantine Films, I think is the name of the, hold on one second. Constantine Films bought the rights from Marvel to make a Fantastic Four movie in the 80s for about $250,000. Mm-hmm. They held the rights for 10 years. 10 years is running up, and they have to make a movie. They have to make a movie to retain the rights by December 31st of 1992. This movie went into production on December 28th. So literally, they're just getting in there. The crazy thing is, which I didn't realize, is, and this is like comes to later in the Fantastic Four story, is that the Fantastic Four movie that came out in 2005 and its sequel, Fantastic Four Rise of the Silver Surfer, and the movie that came out in 2015 are still credited to Constantine Film, the German company, because 20th Century Fox had to pay them to make the movie. So this company has actually made money off of Fantastic Four stuff, just not this Fantastic Four movie. So they make this movie to retain the rights, and they end up getting paid 3 times. Mm-hmm. 3 movies that probably, the first 2 did well in the theaters, if I remember correctly. The third one did not. That reboot did not. So they filmed this thing in and around Los Angeles. Roger Corman was involved. I know you guys are big Roger Corman fans over on The Horror Show.
For sure.
He came in, got involved with Constantine Films, his New Horizons pictures. I think he threw $1 million in it, and they filmed a lot of it in his facility. They're filming this at the same time they're filming like Carnosaur and other stuff like that.
Yes.
Did this feel to you like something you could have pictured ever seeing in a theater?
No. The answer to that is no. That being said, and I know this is a lot of your listeners' first introduction to me, and I'm probably going to make them be like, who the fuck is this asshole? I liked the look and the feel of a lot of the characters. I know that, to answer your question, does it look like a studio, like something that I would expect a Marvel to put out in a studio? Absolutely not.
Okay.
But it does look like what I would expect from like a TV show.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
And I thought like the costumes, and more specifically Thing, I thought he was good for what they had. For a low budget movie, I thought he looked fine.
I think you're all right, because I'm going to tell you this right now. The general buzz around this movie, despite it being considered terrible and not good enough to release, is after 3 other Fantastic Four movies, this might be the closest they ever actually got.
Agreed.
To hitting, the feeling of it. Agreed. It's awkward. We're going to talk about some of the awkwardness. There's a lot of weirdness in this movie, but it still generally did the job.
I think it has, and I think a lot of that has to do with it not being finished. Like if it was able to go to post-production and have things touched up, it might have had a better feel. And compared to the most recent one with Michael B. Jordan,
I
mean, that was terrible.
It was garbage.
I would honestly rather watch this all day over that.
Yeah, I agree.
Never even saw that one.
Have you ever seen this Fantastic Four film before?
I think I saw it after I bought it, and then I just rewatched it because I bought it at BingCon at least a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And then I rewatched it for here. And yeah,
All right. We'll get into the movie.
Not a huge fan as much as you guys are.
All right. Well, no.
I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan.
We're gonna rate it at the end, but we're gonna talk about it and get into it. But it did a
I do agree
to the characters.
It feels like if this was a TV show, that's what it would be.
It would be good, right?
Yeah.
Like when you see them in the the costumes that say like F4 on it.
Yep.
That's cool. Like I like that. And like even Doom, who I don't think they've.
It's the best Doom.
It's the best Doom. I don't think they've done a good job with any of the other movies.
Yeah.
There's some awkwardness with him.
Sure.
But in terms of like the actual portrayal of Doom, it's the best Doom we've gotten.
And considering they were working with $1 million budget.
Right.
It's such
so if they would have really had a backing by a studio, you could have had the same story, maybe cleaned it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But it would have been so much better, in my opinion.
This movie, and we're going to talk about the movie, but this movie's biggest offense, other than just, I guess, being made to not really get out there, is that the story's not strong. I mean, it's an origin story, but then everything they throw in there, the jeweler and all that stuff, none of it sticks. None of it works.
There's no bumper sticker other than it's an origin story of the Fantastic Four, and they battle Doctor Doom.
All right, let's talk about the cast. Who's in this thing? All
right, so you got Alex Hyde White as Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic. So in 1978, Alex Hyde White signed what they call a contract player.
He's one of the last contract
one
players.
of the very last ones, along with who were some of the other people. I thought I wrote it down, but I didn't.
I didn't realize. I read that the other day. I did not realize contract players still existed in 1978.
Right.
Yeah, you know what a contract player was?
I was going to ask, what can you...
So in the old days, in like the 40s and 50s, you would sign a contract with like Universal, and they would just be able to put you in whatever they wanted.
Okay.
And it was a steady way to get paid, but it was very much a thing of that time.
Sure.
So like the fact that like in the 70s and
they just give you roles. You have roles on different shows.
Here you go. You're going to go be on fucking Little House on the Prairie this week, and you're going to go do this, and you're going to do this movie, and you get paid for them all, but you're doing what we tell you to do. I thought that was over in like the 50s and 60s. He is literally of the last five
batch of them.
Of contract players. Yeah.
Wow.
So he's also appeared in Quincy M.E., one of my favorite shows as a kid. The old Battlestar Galactica, Buck Rogers in the 25th Century, also Indiana Jones in The Last Crusade.
Oh, was he really?
Yep.
His father is a pretty famous character actor from the 70s as well. But 70s and prior. He was
before then,
He was old in the 70s, yeah.
Yeah, I guess a lot of people consider him also to be the best Reed Richards character on film. Yeah.
He looks the most like I picture Reed Richards to look like.
I agree.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree.
And he's actually a pretty good looking guy too. Like he, at that age, he was, the fakest thing you'd say about him is when they give him the Richards highlights, they don't look great.
Yeah.
They look like someone just grabbed a paintbrush and went right down the side of his fucking head.
Exactly. Then you have Rebecca Stabb as Sue Storm / Invisible Woman. Very beautiful. I don't really know her from anybody. She's a beautiful woman. In 1980, actually, she won Miss Nebraska, and she was in the Miss USA pageant. She was in an old, I've mentioned before, one of my favorite soap operas, The Guiding Light.
Oh, was she?
She was in that. Beverly Hills 90210, The Wonder Years, Seinfeld, Dharma and Greg, lots of TV shows.
Yeah, and she still looks pretty good too. I looked her up, and she's kept it.
My wife is the biggest 90210 fan of all time, and she recognized her immediately. And then I was like, "How many episodes was she in?" She's like, "I think like 2." I'm like, "How I don't know that."
You have Mercedes McNabb as the young Sue Storm.
I you know what? I haven't seen this movie in a while. I recognize her immediately. She's Harmony from Buffy.
She is Harmony from Buffy.
She looks the fucking same, but just as a little kid. It's weird.
She was also in Hatchet and Hatchet 2.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
She played Misty.
All right.
If you remember that character.
I haven't seen Hatchet in a while. But yeah, as soon as I looked at her, I went, that's fucking Harmony from Buffy. Yeah.
Yep. You have Jay Underwood as Johnny Storm, the Human Torch.
Can I interject?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sure you have this written down, but I'm just so hyped about this guy because he's in Not Quite Human with Alan Thicke.
Yep.
He plays Chip. I don't know if you remember.
No.
You don't remember that TV movie?
No.
Oh, he's like an android with Alan Thicke and the lively sister that's in Teen Witch.
Robin Lively.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, man, when I saw his face, he looks exactly the same as he did in those movies, and I don't know why I remember them so clearly.
He's probably best known for that, The Boy Who Could Fly.
The Boy Who Could Fly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And now
Sonny Bono and the Sonny and Cher.
Oh, did he really?
Yep.
And now he's like, the thing I remember him from pretty well too is he's like the rapey boyfriend in Uncle Buck.
Bug.
Yes, Bug.
Yeah.
Bug.
Yep.
And now he's like a fucking youth minister. Like he's
he's a pastor since 2005. long time. Yeah. Also in 21 Jump Street, The Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, he was Ernest Hemingway.
Really?
Yep. A lot of these people have been in a lot of things. All right. So then we have Philip Van Dyke, not related to Dick Van Dyke, as young Johnny Storm. And he was Luke in the Halloween Town series.
Yes.
Never heard of it. I've heard of it.
I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
So it's a Disney Channel original. Every October, my show, the horror show, we cover all, schlock, but we do a Disney Channel original each October. So we've been covering the Halloween Town. I legitimately love them.
And I guess there's talk about that coming back.
Watching it, but yeah.
I've heard of it, and I've never seen it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not going to like it.
And
You're too old.
Not really much after that. Did a few things as a kid, and that's it. Then we have Michael Bailey Smith as Ben Grimm. He was also in the TV show Charmed. As I didn't watch Charmed, but it says Balthazar and Shax.
I didn't either, but he's done a lot. I think he's also maybe a stunt guy.
Oh, he's got a lot of stuff.
He's got a lot of credits. He was in recent credits.
Yeah, he was in the Army, 82nd Airborne Division. He's a paratrooper. Then he went to the University of Michigan, and he landed himself a spot as a free agent with the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in 1985, but was cut short by an injury. And then actually he kind of lucked into acting. He joined a friend at an audition for A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, Dream Warriors.
That's 3.
The Dream Child.
Dream Child.
I'm sorry, Dream Child. And he landed the role of Super Freddy.
Oh, okay. All right.
And this guy's got tons and tons of TV and film credits.
Don't get horror stuff wrong with the horror show guy.
Yeah,
here.
no.
I don't want to look an asshole.
Dream Child. Carl Ciarfialio, hard to say that name, as a Thing. Basically stuntman and sometimes actor in over 300 roles.
I didn't notice it, but it said that they worked very hard to sync their mannerisms.
Yeah.
Which I thought was weird too. Is like, why didn't he play the Thing as well? But I guess it said they worked very hard.
This guy's bigger.
Yeah, I just didn't notice anything I wish they had done something where maybe Ben Grimm does this a lot. And the Thing do it a lot. It just didn't really roll very well.
Yeah, this dude's in a lot of stuff. Everything from BJ and the Bear to Mallrats and what else? Community.
Oh, okay.
And literally just about everything in between. He's been in almost everything. Then we have Joseph Culp as Victor Von Doom. Dr. Doom. He's the son of actor Robert Culp.
Yep.
From I Spy. He played Don Draper's father in Mad Men, and he was in Apollo 13 and some movie and TV. I couldn't find a whole lot about him. Then we have Kat Green as Alicia Masters.
She's just she does the blind confused look very well.
Yeah, she does.
She's constantly blind and constantly confused.
Yeah, she didn't really do much acting, but she was a composer, producer, and writer. She did a lot of composer credits. Then we have Ian Trigger as the Jeweler. Basically a British stage actor. He's appeared in some TV and film.
My note on the Jeweler was I don't know if my note on the Jeweler was I don't know if they didn't have the rights to Mole Man.
Yeah,
because Mole Man,
right. Yeah, exactly.
They're like, well, you know what would be great is Mole Man. We're gonna have this kind of guy who's maybe sort of underground, and he pops up and he's like a bad guy for the fan. And they're like, you know what, we don't have Mole Man.
We can't do that.
They're like, just go with
the Jeweler.
Let's get the Jeweler. We'll make him kind of leprechaun-y and he's horny.
Dude, he's 100% a leprechaun with a touch of DeVito's Penguin.
Yeah. You could totally tell that those were two things that were popular at that time.
Yeah.
And they're like, just put that together. We don't need fucking Mole Man.
Stealing a diamond that belongs in a spaceship, right?
Dude, how that diamond, how fake does that fucking thing
Oh my God.
It's so terrible.
Yeah, it's just like terrible. A big cluster of something.
It's a big cluster. I would have appreciated it more if it was diamondy and spiky all around.
Right.
But it's got that perfectly flat bottom.
Exactly.
It just looks like such a piece of shit prop.
It's crazy.
Okay, we'll get to the end and we'll rate the movie. As much as I appreciate certain things in this movie, there are also things that are totally red flags. Maybe they weren't ever going to put this out. And just to throw this out there, the cast really worked hard at trying to get this thing out. The cast at one point were going to put together their own screening and it got stopped. The guys that did the music for this spent $6,000 of their own money to hire a 48-piece orchestra. $6,000 of their own money. They're two brothers. I think their names are the Worst brothers. David and Eric. They spent $6,000 of their own money. And this movie was never intended to come out and never came out.
That's crazy. Why
it's a crazy story. Again, check Doomed out because you're really going to get all the answers there, but it's so fucking nuts.
You can just tell by watching it. like they had good chemistry. Like they worked well together, and you could tell like they were all in. Like they thought this was going to be a big break for them. They're they're the Fantastic Four, you know.
And that's part of the story is that they all banked on this shit.
Yep.
And it did not happen. Yeah.
I'll give you one more. Annie Gagan as Mae Storm, the mother. She's in Family Matters, Highway to Heaven, and lots of soap operas and TV shows from the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. She runs the boarding house.
Yeah, the boarding house.
So like the beginning of the movie starts where Ben and Reed, much like the comics, are college friends. Reed's the genius. Ben is the athlete and his best friend, kind of his protector, and they live together in the Storm's boarding house. Johnny and Sue are very young. First things first, so uncomfortable when you get that really heavy flirting feeling between 24-year-old Reed and like 11-year-old Sue.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Were you guys the same? I was,
Yes.
again, I hadn't seen it in a while, but like there's that whole scene where, she's like really into him.
I mean, she's goggling him. And
Yeah.
it's like, how long is this?
It was very uncomfortable. I did not like that scene.
I was not feeling that.
Yeah.
It gave, the whole boarding and then them being close to the kids gave me a huge vibe of The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Oh, yeah.
Like how it's like you got a boarding house.
Yeah.
Like, just why don't you keep the guys in their fucking room? Like why is Ben Grimm playing like Atari 2600 with the kid? Like, I get it that you got a boarding house, but like keep your shit separate from these motherfuckers. Let them go in their room. Let them come down if you're doing a communal dinner. But like, let's not get them in the lives, right?
And then you get them well, actually, you have the accident.
Well, before the accident, I want to say something.
Yeah, okay.
So we meet in class, which is being taught by Punky Brewster's dad, and Lassard from the Police Academy movies. We meet in class, Victor Von Doom, right? We don't know he's Victor Von Doom at that point, but him and Reed are like trying to come up with a calculation because this cosmic event called Colossus is coming into our universe for the first time, and they're trying to harness the energy.
Yeah.
Did you feel a real gay vibe between the two of them? Like Victor to Reed. Did you feel that?
Well,
like that he had
tension?
sexual tension on his end.
Sure.
Nothing wrong with that. But like, I wanted to know if I'm the only one that felt that. Did you?
No,
feel that
I don't
too?
think you're the only one that felt that.
Okay.
No.
Sometimes when I see stuff like that, I'm like, am I just being like fucking like, not a cool guy? But like, it just seemed like he was. There's a lot of like weird gesturing on Victor's part, and it gets worse when he becomes Doom. It gets worse when he becomes Doom. But so it seems like he kind of has a thing for Reed, and
Yeah, well, the events that happen is almost like a scorned lover. you
Yes.
know, and that's his motivation going forward.
Exactly. That's part of what doesn't work for me. Like they were best friends, and it wasn't his fault. And you just have it in for him now forever, like you said. So scorned lover.
Yeah.
in the comics, it was more of a rivalry thing.
Yeah,
From the beginning. So I think that they kind of bank on the friend thing a little bit more here.
they do. Yeah,
And that's fine.
Which they were pretty faithful to the comics. I don't know why they decided to change it, but
They probably didn't have rights to certain things. There was probably certain things they just couldn't use. Again, Jeweler, a.k.a. Why is this not Mole Man?
right.
So we're going to they're going to have an experiment, and they're going to harness the power of Colossus.
Colossus.
They go and they do this, and Colossus rips through the machinery. They didn't calculate correctly, and it burns Victor to death. Right, Victor burns to death, and we essentially kind of end that bit of the story where Johnny and where Reed and Ben. Kind of, they take Victor's body away, and we shoot to 10 years later.
Strict right away, 10 years
10
later.
years later. Did you believe for 1 second that Sue 10 years later was Sue from 10 years earlier?
No.
No.
The most incredible
And he hadn't, it's
growth
like
spurt
he
of
hadn't
all
even
time.
seen her.
Well, I think
Did you get the feeling like when Reed saw her, it was the first time he'd seen her in 10 years?
I did, but I think they were supposed to be doing that. But I also think...
But 5 minutes later, she's in the rocket and she's controlling...
I have questions.
She's an engineer. I'm like, where's the transition?
I have questions.
Okay. It wasn't just me then.
No, I have questions. So they come back 10 years later, back to the house. And it seems like the mom didn't age at all, because she didn't. Right? They did nothing to make her age. They didn't give her gray hair or anything. But Sue went from being like a prepubescent girl to being a Playboy playmate.
Yeah.
And Johnny went from being a young kid. Johnny was more believable. He's just, okay.
Yeah, he's an annoying brother.
He's an annoying brother, and he kind of seems the same way. But they go back, and immediately Reed is fucking staring her down. Did you feel uncomfortable with that? Because I felt uncomfortable with that, Joe.
It was a little, like you said, unbelievable that it's the same person.
I thought it was gross.
Yeah.
It seemed to me like the way he was looking at her was like, man, I knew this was going to happen.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Like, I could look at you when you were 12 and go, she was going to be fucking fine. When I was
I'm
a
gonna
kid.
fuck her later for sure.
When I was a kid.
Yeah, it
right?
just is so gross.
When I was a kid watching Who's the Boss, I knew Alyssa Milano was going to be hot.
Yeah.
And I'm like the same age. I used to watch it and go, in like 20 years, she's going to be, and she obviously grew up to be hot. But I was the same age as her. So there's no nefariousness there. I think Reed Richards is playing like video games with the kids and just going, I cannot wait. I cannot fucking wait.
Yeah, exactly.
I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
It was creepy to watch him.
I am all in on you, Sue.
Yeah, and they lingered, on their transaction, their visual to each other, and it was so out of place, so awkward.
So my question, if you were to write this story, would you have included even a 3-minute scene that maybe possibly, Joe, I'm going to ask you this, if maybe possibly explained that Johnny and Sue had any reason to be on that fucking ship?
I mean, that's a pretty big plot point, right?
It's you. It's like you, Joe. Let's pretend you are a fucking a scientist of incredible regard, and Lloyd is your friend from college, and we do explain, kind of in passing dialogue, that he was a pilot in the military.
All it takes is one sentence.
One sentence. So we know why Ben's going, because Ben says, because you knew that when you were going, I was always going to fly you.
Yep.
But then that would be like the next thing you know, it's just you go and you find some people you knew 20 years ago and go, you want to go to fucking space? Now, listen, I'm going to be honest with you. I have not read original Fantastic Four in a long time, but I think Johnny and Sue had more reason than just being family to go up there. I'm sure there's probably someone out there listening to Pint of Comics going, no, it was just as dumb. Maybe it was. I don't know. But fuck, it just really drove me nuts. It's like, why is he taking them up there?
Right. And again, it would just take like one sentence to just somewhat convince.
I thought I had missed something. I'm like, what did I miss? Did I just fall asleep?
I have the trade of the first story. I'm gonna read it because I'm almost curious. It being 1963, if maybe it was kind of a thing. It was like, well, me and you were going up, Ben, and I'm gonna bring my girlfriend and her brother. Maybe that really was it.
I don't think so. I have a paperback. From the Scholastic. Remember when you were in school in like 5th grade?
I have the same thing.
You get the Scholastic thing.
I have the same fucking thing.
I have that. It's a really small paperback. Yeah, I've got that. And I've read it a number of times. I don't remember that part of the story.
I was very put off by that. So we've had two of our weird, what I consider weird, romantic romantic encounters where we had Victor and Reed seemed a little off, like something's going on there. And now Sue and Reed.
Reed's a freaking horn dog.
But wait, what is up with, now let me ask you this. Have you ever bumped into a woman somewhere? You bump into a woman you don't know. You just bump into her, right? And then you pick her up by her waist and move her over, as Ben does with Alicia.
I have never done that, nor would I.
Would that work?
I've only done it once, but it worked once.
Would that work? So they're going into the building before they take off in the rocket, and Ben bumps into Alicia Masters, who we know from the comics they're going to end up being, more. They're married now.
Right.
They recently got married in the comics. He bumps into her and he destroys her little her pottery or whatever it was, her statue. Picks her up by her waist and lifts her up. And I think we're supposed to think this is like a meet cute moment.
Yeah.
But it's rapey. It's like you shouldn't be touching her like that.
Agreed.
Okay. All right.
And for some reason in this movie, that's Ben's MO. As we find out with that blind lady, he just picks her up and comforts her. Which would be absolutely terrifying.
Do we have a time reference for this film?
What do you mean?
I know it was made in 94, but is there an era? Is this from the 70s or is it from the 90s?
I think it's in the 90s.
Okay.
I don't think they couldn't afford to make it a period piece.
Right.
You know what I mean? So they're going to get in this rocket and they're going to, Reed's obsessed over the last 10 years with Colossus, and Colossus is coming back around again. So he's built a rocket. They're going to go up in space. If you know the history of the Fantastic Four, we know what's going to happen. He goes up there. They get bombarded, which is another word they use most of the time for the Fantastic Four, with cosmic rays.
Cosmic rays.
And they hit back to Earth and they end up with fantastic powers. Okay. The crash scene in this is very, it's very chaotic. We obviously don't have a budget for a full ship, so there's just a bunch of random shit on fire around this giant field.
No, before the crash scene though, that was caused because the jeweler went in.
The jeweler went in and changed. Yeah, I forgot about that.
So I'm watching this movie and I see this big, huge fucking diamond cluster on this. I'm like, that thing's got to be worth millions of dollars. How can he just have it laying around?
He's using the diamond to cool down the lasers. Yeah.
Right. So
as you would.
I don't know how he got this diamond and why isn't he, you know.
And Indiana Jones swaps it, which makes me laugh. But
yeah, and then then the jeweler comes through. He does this stupid, you know, walk over the lasers thing. And
dude, the jeweler walking through the lasers was as tense as Tom Cruise on that cable in Mission Impossible 1 when he's like half an inch above the floor. I don't know what scene was more fucking intense. Was as he's like fucking walking through the lasers. I was like, man, this is fucking cinema, right?
And he has an exact replica. What is it? The plastic? I don't know what he put on there.
I think they bought both of those pieces at the same fucking Ocean State job lot. To be honest with you, they were both terrible. They were both terrible.
Oh man.
And
that's what caused whatever. Because they didn't have the right.
Well, the lasers obviously can't be super cooled by a piece of plastic. It's got to be that fucking $10 million diamond piece, you know? Yeah. So they crash, they go down, and then all of a sudden we start noticing like strange things happening. Reed, what did you feel about Reed's powers every time they used them? Were you willing to?
Who was the first? Oh, it was Johnny.
Johnny sneezes.
He sneezed. Yeah.
Johnny sneezes and shoots a wad of fire out and blows up like a bush or something like that.
I think I'm just super easy to please.
Yeah.
And I love comic book movies, like more than anything. I didn't hate it. I would still like geek out when I saw them using their powers. And again, for the budget that they have and for the type of movie that it was in, I didn't think it was that bad.
Okay. But I have a question about the powers. I liked what they did with Johnny's powers, right? Johnny never flames on fully till the end.
Yep.
Now, if that was like a Marvel movie made now, an origin story, that would be a great moment. Through the movie, he keeps on using like little tricks in here and there, and then finally at the end, it's like, flame on! People would be up and fucking cheering. Yeah. But they don't, Sue's powers, they don't understand.
No, they do not.
Right.
She's invisible, but more than once, she turns invisible, and they treat it as if she teleports or disappears.
Or it's like translucent, like bullets coming through her.
Right. There's one scene where she's standing between two guys they're fighting later on. And the two guys go to get her in the middle. She turns invisible and they slam into each other.
You just have to figure she stepped back. I don't know.
I know you're supposed to figure that, but I don't think they know that.
Right.
And also there was another bit too. She did something else. There's another scene where she did something and it didn't really like jibe with it. There's also a scene in this movie where Alicia, who's blind, gets gassed and they show it from her point of view. Did you guys notice that? When the jeweler kidnaps her, the jeweler's henchman's approaching her.
Yeah.
With like a fucking wafter.
I must
of gas.
not have noticed that. I must have been tuning out.
It goes to her point of view of him spraying her with the gas.
But she has no point of view because she's blind.
Her passing out and the screen goes black and she's blind.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I had a problem with the reveal of their powers too. Johnny's was fine. I don't know. He sneezed. I don't know if that's what he really does. But then Sue Storm comes by and she's talking and they're all saying, well, Sue, we can't see you. Where are you? She's like, what's the problem? I'm right here. And then she starts half appearing and they'd say, well, look down, look at your legs. They're not there. And she looks down. She's like, oh my God. I don't know about you guys, but I'm aware of my body. Like at all times, I can see it. Right? So how does she not know she's invisible? All right. So that's one thing.
I could kind of see that. I can kind of see that.
At some point, she backs up and falls backwards.
Yep.
Right. And Reed reaches out. Now he's nowhere near her. He does not know he has powers. He doesn't run to catch her. He just stretches his arm out.
Well, I see. That didn't bother me because to me that's
I don't know. Those things bother me.
We've all kind of done stuff like that where like you make a movement, like even though you're not going to be able to do it. I got that. So like he was making a movement that wasn't going to help her in any way, shape, or form, and it was a way to show that his power.
It just so happened to
I know.
Right.
And then 5 minutes later, they get him in the interrogation room, and they reveal their powers once again. And I thought that was completely unnecessary. That whole scene. I don't know why they had to reinforce what their powers were because we already know what their powers are.
Well, not everybody knows. You got.
Well, but they just showed them like a minute before, and then they showed them again.
All right. Did you like the Thing costume at least?
No, I absolutely hated the Thing costume.
Really? You know,
he looks like a fucking lizard guy. He doesn't look like a rock guy at all.
Many people.
He looks like that snake character from the movie.
Joe, do you enjoy the Thing character, the costume?
I loved it.
I hated it.
I loved it.
I hated
because Michael Chiklis is the only, like, the next best thing, right?
Yeah.
But Michael Chiklis just looks like the Thing, like, every day.
Anyway, yeah.
He barely needs costume. Like, I thought that one was cool.
He's way too expressive with his face.
His mouth doesn't move a lot.
I honestly kind of like that. I kind of like the amount of the effect of that. Most of the budget of this movie went towards that costume.
Yeah,
a
I'm
good
sure.
amount.
For sure, yeah.
A good amount. The only thing I could say is I've heard people say this is that he looks like an extra from one of like the live action Turtles movies. I could see him being a character in one of those.
He just looked like a reptile to me. He didn't look like a rock monster at all.
I can kind of see that as well. I think that one of the biggest things that this movie fails at in terms of like, as a movie, is that there's like, we kind of talked about, it's an origin film with no real acts to it. Like, we get the beginning, we get the setup, we get the middle and the accident. Then we end up in Latveria where they're being held against their will. And then it's just the end of the movie.
The whole movie to me is like, what the fuck is going on right now? I don't understand. What is this whole Peter Pan jeweler underground thing?
And that ends quick. Did you guys notice that? Once
and then Doom shows up and he forget it.
Once Doom shows up, the jeweler just disappears.
Yes.
Totally disappears.
Absolutely.
He completely run. Like, we don't need a villain anymore.
Yeah.
We have him. Yeah.
We got our Doom. Now, I got a question about Doom for you guys. I'm going to start with Joe. Did anybody other than me notice the extremely weird amounts of hand gestures Doom uses in this movie? Were you paying attention to that?
I did catch on to that.
The whole scene where he's talking to them from a view screen, every single thing he says, he mimics with his hands.
Yes.
You can't run away. You will be trapped. And then I thought about it. I thought about it, and I don't remember if this is in Doomed. I don't remember
for the
if they
hearing
talked about
impaired.
it. I'm not kidding, because his mouth, he has a mask on.
Yeah.
And, we kind of know a little bit, like, some of the ineptitude of some of this filmmaking. Did they do that for, like, people that maybe were hearing impaired to understand?
I think they did.
Joe, did you feel that way?
That would make sense. And it's also funny that you bring up the mask, because the movie's such a mess. Like, they didn't account for his voice being muffled, because there are sometimes delivering his lines, he's just like,
yeah.
Like, what?
The mask looks good, though.
The mask looks great.
The mask, especially...
It was pretty good when you could see it. It was kind of dark.
He's got that weird, like, razor blade looking thing in the center of his mouth, and he has that in the comics. It actually... those Fantastic Four movies from the 2000s with Chiklis, that Julian McMahon, that Doom was fucking terrible.
The guy from Nip Tuck.
Nip Tuck. Yeah. That Doom was terrible. I'm going to give this credit. You said it. This Doom is probably the best Doom we got. Even when he pulls out his gun,
yes,
he has like a Luger-ish type gun, which is what Doom carries. I don't know. I there was bits and pieces I definitely liked. Joe, you picked the movie. You've never seen it before. Give us some of the stuff in this that you actually really liked a lot. Like, what are some of the things that you really dug about this movie?
The costumes, as I already mentioned, and kind of going along with what you're saying for Doom, just really hit home for me. I think, again, knowing how little they had and how they were able to pull it off, I'm sorry that was your biggest qualm with it, but I liked them showing off their powers again because it was so low budget.
Right.
Like, if somebody gave me $1 million right now, I'm not going to know how to turn the Human Torch into a fucking torch. I'm just not going to know how to do that, and make the thing look like that and make the mouth move. So it's super, super campy. I'm by no means saying this is a good movie, and I'm by no means telling people to go out and watch it right now. But if you like the Fantastic Four, I think knowing seeing what they did with what they had is pretty impressive and like campy fun. So
we end up they end up breaking out of Latveria. Right, and they get back home. You don't even know how the fuck.
I guess so. I think they did.
You don't even know how they get back home. They get back home, and they're
in the Baxter Building.
They're in the Baxter Building with 4444 on it.
Yeah,
and Ben has disappeared. He's now relegated himself to the streets because he feels like a freak.
Yes.
And everything, and which is understandable. I mean, that one of the biggest things of the Fantastic Four.
Well, did he turn back once?
Well, we're going to get to that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, we're going to get to that because that's that. I have a question about that. So he ends up leaving them, and he just feels like a freak. And that's one of the great things about the Fantastic Four comic too, is that like Reed's a genius, and he has this like fucking like ability to stretch himself anywhere. Sue can become invisible. Sue is, by many people's standards, considered to be one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel universe.
Right, she's overpowered.
She can form a invisible bubble in your fucking bloodstream and kill you without even thinking about it. And Johnny, can burn at the fucking hottest like temperatures in the world. Ben is super strong, but he's also a freak, right? Mm-hmm. And that is part of the story, is that like, yeah, you got this great power. You're still beautiful. You're still super smart, and I'm a fucking monster.
Right.
Right? I mean, and that's the way it's always been. I'm a rock monster.
That's it.
A rock monster. Down. So he's on the streets and everything, and then he finds out, this is actually, I'm dropping back a little bit, but he finds out that Alicia's been kidnapped. He goes to save her. Did you think it was weird, Joe, that it seemed to be the power of love made him change back, for a weird minute?
It didn't even seem to be. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
She proclaimed her love for him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you ever seen a love story that happened so fast between two people? They literally met like once, and then she became kind of like into him because wasn't there a scene where she's making his face? She's commissioned to make a statue of the four of them.
Right. And she's making his face, and all of a sudden she's having this sort of orgasmic Calgon moment. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Calgon moment.
Yeah. Snaps him out back into human form.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She says, I love you, and he immediately turns back into a fucking human.
Very bizarre.
Yeah. And what does he do at that point? He runs away.
He runs away. Yeah.
He's doing the wrong thing.
Yeah. He runs away. So he ends up coming back for the end, for the finale when they need him.
He hits us with his catchphrase, and I was fucking amped.
Three times he hit that catchphrase.
I was amped too, Joe. But I agree. He did it 3 fucking times. I would have loved it much more if it was once. At the end.
Yeah.
Only once.
Okay, at the end. Johnny flames on. Great moment. He hits it 3 times. He hits it when they first get captured. He hits it when he goes to fight the jeweler's goons. And then he hits it at the end when he goes to fight the Doom and his minions.
I feel like that end one was more impactful, though. I don't know. Maybe
no, I agree.
That was the one that resonated the most.
Yeah, it was 2 times too many.
Yeah, it was 2 times too many. I agree. But I will say, when he says it, I got excited. It's even though I appreciate the animatronics and everything, like when he talks, he's like, it's clobbering time. His fucking head is like doing the robot because it's just all mechanics and everything.
Yeah.
No, I really enjoyed that. I really like that bit. So Doom is going to blow New York City up. He's got a laser, which is very comic booky, right? That's what villains do in comic books. And he's got a laser. He is going to fucking shoot this laser beam across the Atlantic Ocean, and it's going to fucking destroy New York City. So as he blasts this laser beam, we get the moment where Johnny says, you guys stay and take care of Doom. I've been waiting to do this because that was a little joke in the beginning was he couldn't beat the video game.
Yeah.
So he says, I've been waiting to do this my whole life. And he flames on. Now, I'm going to get the complaining out of the way. Lloyd, what did you think about when he flamed on?
Yeah. Well, he said flame on, right?
He says flame on.
He's like, oh, that's the word. That's how you do it. It was all right.
It's the only time in the movie. Joe, did you enjoy that scene?
It was all right.
You did. I remember seeing this when I first saw this like 15 years ago. I was
nonplussed at this point.
I'll be honest. I remember seeing this the first time I saw it like 15 years ago and thinking to myself, this is like an 8-bit video game, right?
Yeah.
But seeing it this time, I thought it was actually better, right? Okay, the graphics aren't great, but there's one bit in this whole part I thought was really fucking stupid. Is when he finally does stop the laser and he's like doing flips in like the laser's forcing him to flip around.
Yeah.
Did you agree that was just fucking that was very dumb?
Yeah.
Okay.
The laser protecting the laser from the Earth or whatever, I think that was the pinnacle of the worst part of the movie.
I think you might have picked the movie that pissed Lloyd off more than our most famous.
No. This movie doesn't piss me off at all.
Okay. The
other movie you're talking about pissed me off.
We recently did maybe earlier this year, we did an episode. Someone picked Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 1990 version.
Okay.
Yeah.
It just destroyed him.
Really?
Yeah.
Destroyed him.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
I hated every second of that movie.
He was like, we were recording and he was seething as we recorded. There was 4 of us on that episode. I was glad there was 4 because I had to account for one guy that was just sitting here going, I'm not fucking talking.
I would understand Secret of the Ooze when they couldn't even get Bebop and Rocksteady and they had to get Taka and Razor. But the first one?
Yeah.
Really?
Absolutely hated it. Absolutely hated it. Long story short, we get to the end and Johnny stops the laser and Doom and Reed have their little fight on the side of the building. Doom goes over the side and we get a cliffhanger moment, right? Reed doesn't want to let go of him, and Doom...
Which goes back to the Lover Scorned, the way that he's acting and talking to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, there's definitely something happening there. They were in college. They might have experimented. Sure. I don't know. There might have been a late night. They were watching fucking. The Joy of Painting with Bob Ross, and somebody started touching somebody's leg. Shit happens, right? All right, we're all adults here. I thought it was weird that they focus, like when Doom does fall, his gauntlet comes off,
gauntlet, yeah.
and it stays on the ledge, and then like we get that moment where the gauntlet moves.
The fingers are moving.
I don't know
Is
why.
there some reason for that?
Well, Doom uses Doom bots in the comics all the time. Like 90% of the time, when you think Doom has been killed,
So
or
it's not him.
it's a robot. So I'm wondering if that was supposed to be like, oh, it's a Doom bot.
Yeah.
Right.
That was kind of what I was thinking, but
I don't know.
I don't think they had. On the other hand, I don't think
no,
they
I
had
don't
the
think that
wherewithal
was-
to do it.
Yeah. All right. So the very end of the movie, we get the wedding. Now, I wanted to ask you guys about this wedding because I thought this was weird. Why does Sue wear a full gown, but Reed wears his Fantastic Four uniform? Like, I felt like he was either incredibly underdressed or she was totally overdressed.
Great question.
Yeah. Did you notice that?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I would have gotten it if the Thing and Johnny were in the uniforms and she was in a wedding dress and he was in a tux, but she's in a wedding dress and he's in a fucking Fantastic Four uniform.
It just made no sense to me.
Yeah. All right. They get married. They hop into their limo, and as they're leaving, there's that last bit where the giant Reed arm is out there waving through the sunroof, and we're going to assume we're going to get a sequel.
We're going to get more,
which we never got before. I do want to bring up a like of mine in this movie as well. They overuse it. I like the theme song, the score that they play. I like the actual opening credits, which is, it's kind of just them like showing, I think, like Earth and maybe Colossus and everything. And it's a very heroic theme. I could hear it in my head right now, but they go back to it a whole lot in this movie. There's not I guess the problem I can think with this movie is there wasn't enough score in it. And every time they go back, it's that theme again.
Sure.
It's very repetitive. Very repetitive.
It really is a shame they couldn't have just made this.
Yeah, no, they didn't have the money to do it proper. So
Yeah. You would have preferred to have seen this as like a TV movie or something?
If that would have gotten them, the proper funding to finish it.
if they would have had more than $1 million, I would have probably enjoyed it a lot more if they had the backing of somebody, some studio. But the way it was presented was, I mean, if you watch Doomed, the actors didn't even know that this wasn't going to be released in any way.
Right.
And
it's hard to rate. It's hard to rate an unfinished movie, right?
Yeah.
Like, theoretically, it should be a 0. It's not a complete film.
Well, but it is. I mean, it was finished, right? There's nothing in here that's not finished. It just never came out.
True.
So it was done. It was as done as.
So it did go into post, but like they would have presented it as is. They wouldn't have added.
As far as I know, I think this thing was done.
Okay.
I don't think there was anything that was. They were traveling the con circuit, and the actors were actually pitching in their money.
That's right. Didn't they get sued to stop? Like a cease and desist?
I think they got a cease and desist. There's a whole. Again, we won't get into it too far, but there was a whole thing where Avi Arad, who was running the studio side of the Marvel stuff, got a hold of seeing it, and that's when he decided, I've got to buy this from Constantine Film and like fucking bury it. There's rumors that like there's a beach somewhere in Mexico that like he dug a pit and threw all the like almost like the ET,
right next to the ET Atari,
Atari game. Yeah, there's rumors of that. All right, so unfortunately, we don't really have any box office. Do you have the year? Can we?
Yeah, I got the year stuff. We've done this year before, so it's going to be repeat. So it's 1994. Number 10 that year was Pulp Fiction, 107.9. Number 9 was The Mask, 8 Speed, 7 Clear and Present Danger, 6 Dumb and Dumber, 5 The Flintstones, 4 The Santa Claus, 3 True Lies, 2 The Lion King, and number 1 Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
Wow.
No Ace Ventura?
Nope.
Great movie.
Right.
Great movie.
Not in 10, maybe number 11.
I got an Ace Ventura story for you. So I remember me and my buddy Dave, we went to go to the movies one night on a Friday night, and we went to see Ace Ventura because a few months before that, we were at the movies and we saw the stand-up and like of like the cardboard. And it's like, essentially, I'm not even kidding. We both were like, it's the white guy from In Living Color.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a movie. Doesn't look good from this poster. So the movie previews come out, like the trailers, and we're like, that looks like it might be funny. Let's go see it the night it comes out. Like, we used to go to the movies all the time. We go to the theater, and the fucking theater is packed. Like, I think people had a sense. Long story short, laughed our balls off. Yeah. The first 5 minutes of the movie with him pretending to be the delivery guy, we were already laughing so fucking hard. And in all honesty, in 94... it was bookended because that came out like in January, And I remember me and him went back and saw Dumb and Dumber in December.
Oh yeah.
And laughed the whole fucking time. Those movies are fucking.
And The Mask came out. What a good year.
The Mask doesn't work for me as much.
I agree.
It's a good movie, but it's not the same level.
I agree.
But like fucking, even if you just took Ace and fucking Dumb and Dumber. Now, if you add The Mask in for him and for what it did for his career, holy shit.
Yeah. Those three movies.
Three movies in one fucking year? Yeah. Fucking hilarious.
I was more of a Dumb and Dumber fan, not so much Ace Ventura.
Yeah, Dumb and Dumber.
Or The Mask. I really wasn't a Mask fan.
Dumb and Dumber is a subtler, funny movie.
Yeah.
Ace Ventura is like a ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, and Dumb and Dumber is ridiculous too, but there's a lot of like lines in there that are just kind of under the radar.
Mm-hmm.
And Ace Ventura is like fucking just.
Those are my favorite.
Out of his asshole.
The under the radar lines.
Yeah. He's using his ass.
Shoving his ass in Tone Loke's face. Yeah.
Yeah, Tone Loke in
Asking
there.
for bubble gum.
The fucking what was that? When he's Einhorn Finkel and he's in the fucking shower and he's crying. He's like crying. I love that fucking movie. All right, so I guess we just have to jump to rating this thing. All right, that's fair. We're gonna rate it, unfinished or not. Here on Pint of Comics, we got a rule. We go from 0 to 5. Quarter scale is optional, so you could use a quarter, you can use a half, whatever you want to do, Joe. All right, I'm going to start with Lloyd.
Yeah,
I want to start the bar low and see what he says.
What did I rate Ninja Turtles?
Well, you didn't give it a 0 because I think
I won't give anything.
You won't give
0.
anything a 0 because you're a good person. But like maybe a 1.
A 1.
I don't know, but I'm going to say if anything, you give it a 1.
I think I probably gave it a 1 or maybe a half.
You might have gave it a half. You hated that fucking movie. You were mad.
I'm going to give this a 1.5.
All right.
Yeah, I probably would jump up to a 2.5 if it actually had been intended to be released and had some money behind it.
Okay.
It is, too confusing. There's so many things that, what's the word I'm looking for? Anyways, things that don't make sense. Like with the rocket and all of a sudden, people are in a rocket and they shouldn't be. Yeah, 1.5.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll go next. We'll leave our guest Joe for the end on this one. He picked the movie. I'm not as much of a bastard as you. No. It's not a great movie, but it does a lot right, especially with what it was given.
It does a lot, right?
It does a lot. I'm telling you right now.
All right.
I'm telling you right now, in different circumstances, this could have been our Fantastic Four. All right. I don't dislike the Thing costume. I like the idea of not giving Johnny his full powers till the very end. I know it's a budgetary thing. They couldn't, but I like the idea of that. Some things are a little bit like, even though it's the same in the comics with the age difference, the Sue, I wish I had never seen Reed and Sue together as a kid and adult, because it really, like, if they had just, if they had met,
just skip the whole early stuff.
That's what I'm saying. If he went to the door, sees a beautiful Sue and says, I haven't seen you, in years, you wouldn't have seen him know her as a little girl and know that like he's got these like plans.
Exactly.
So that's a little gross. I'm going to go, I'm going to go 225.
Okay.
I'm going to go 225. I had fun. Plot wise, there's a lot wrong with this movie. It's not well written.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't feel like a complete movie. It almost feels like it's made to be just an origin story. But I give it a 225. Joe, what do you got?
Everything that you just said is echoing my sentiments. I was originally thinking 2.5, but that's honestly too high for this movie. I think that's being too generous. I would give it a 2, but it's not a terrible 2, if that makes sense.
Solid 2.
It's a solid 2. I mean, it doesn't feel complete, even though it was. If they had any semblance of money or like skilled writers or producers attached to it, it definitely could have been a 3, if they were able to pull it off. I like the cast. I think they would have been fine under different circumstances. So it's a strong 2.
All right. We got a good little run of different scores there. I'm going to tell everybody again, please go to doomedfilms.bigcartel.com. If you're interested in this movie in any way, shape, or form, even if you're not interested in seeing the actual movie that we just talked about, but you're interested in like all the shit because like the story is incredible. The story of what happened with this movie in the end is more interesting than the movie itself.
Exactly.
So it's one of those things. There's also the other one that I've always wanted to see that I don't know anybody that's seen it, is that Jerry Lewis one, the
clown,
the day the laughter died. Have you ever heard of that, Lloyd?
No.
So Jerry Lewis.
I've heard it. I haven't seen it.
Nobody's that one, like Star Wars Holiday Special, Fantastic Four are like, you could find them.
Yeah.
But this one is like very like hard to get. I know I think Patton Oswalt, the comedian, owns a copy and has like parties at his house and shows it. But if you've never heard of it, it's a film Jerry Lewis made in the early 80s where he plays a Jewish clown who the Nazis capture and keep in a concentration camp. And it's his job to lead the kids to their death.
Ugh.
As a clown. And apparently it was he thought it was going to be like his big thing, like his big serious role and it just,
It's terrible.
It's terrifying. The subject matter is terrible. And
I would never watch that.
I would watch that out of pure curiosity because it's like the true definition of a lost movie. True definition. You've never seen this, have you? No. Okay. All right. If you ever do an episode on it, and then that way I'll.
That might be too touchy to do a subject. I'm kind of with Lloyd. I'm with both of you. I would see it out of like morbid curiosity.
Yeah.
Just because it's been lost. The subject matter is quite literally the most insane thing I can think of filming.
I would not want to see that.
I don't think I'm going to enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like such a weird idea that like.
I actually think it's nuts that Patton has parties to watch.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
I want to come over and watch, fucking stepmom or in terms of endearment. Like, that's crazy.
People apparently have gone and checked it out. All right, Joe, a horror show. I Hate Horror. Tell us all about it, where everybody can find it.
We're on all streaming. I haven't faltered this whole time until I plug myself. We're on any streaming device, wherever you get your podcast. Sean runs the horror show pages. Actually, we just had a social media person take over the Instagram. So
you got an intern.
We have an intern, I guess you can call her. So Reagan, she's running the Instagram, but Sean still pops on there. That's at I Hate Horror on Instagram. It's at I Hate Horror on all of the social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat. I don't think he's really on Snapchat anymore, though. And you can find me. I'm only active on Instagram, Boognish1985.
Boognish.
All right. Manster, where can everybody find the Pint of Comics stuff?
At pintofcomics.com, and subscribe on all your podcatchers, whatever one you like. And we got a YouTube channel. You can click the little bell for notifications. On Facebook and Twitter, it's at Pint of Comics. And on Instagram, it's at Pint_O_comics.
All right. This has been fun. Joe, come back soon.
Thank you so much for having me. I love this format.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it. And Lloyd, what do you say to the people so we can go shut this off and go home?
It's clobbering time. See ya.
It's over, Johnny. It's over. Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.